Well, hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 136 with my podcast called Misheard Song Lyrics. I'm Misheard, and we're doing our first ever, I can't believe this, Survivor Misheard Song Lyric. The misheard song lyric is, "And the last known survivor stalks his bread in the night." And the correct lyrics is, "And the last known survivor stalks his prey in the night." I never thought it said bread, but now listening to it, and it was someone suggested many weeks back, it does sound like he's saying he's stalking his bread. Well, you know, this is an iconic 80s theme movie song. For those of you who don't know this song, you're under a rock. And I know on the bread part, a lot of people love their bread. A lot of people will do a lot of things to keep their bread stocked away from someone. So, you know, this could be an ode to that. I also hear that Miss Oprah loves her carbs, aka bread. So this could be her theme song as well. But it's not bread, it stalks his prey in the night. Also, for some of you who don't know, shocker, I love karaoke. And so I do sing the song sometimes at karaoke, but I do a twist. I do what they call the youngins a mashup. So you take two songs, put them together, and they work beautifully. So you're like, what do you mean put them together? So I take the sound, the music of Survivor's Eye of the Tiger, which is what we're talking about today for this misheard, and then while that music is playing on the karaoke track at the bar, I instead sing the lyrics to Adele's 2011 song, I can't believe that was 11 years ago, Rolling in the Deep. It's genius. It works perfectly. So anyway, just had to go through that. So let's talk about Eye of the Tiger. Let's talk about the band Survivor and a little bit more new things I didn't even know about it other than being, you know, a Rocky III theme song. It almost didn't come to play. So let's talk about it. So Eye of the Tiger is a song by American rock band Survivor. It was released as a single from their third album of the same name, also called Eye of the Tiger. And like I said earlier, it's a theme song for the 1982 film Rocky III, which was released a day before the single, okay? And the version of the song that appears in the film is actually a demo version. I didn't know that. The film version also contains tiger growls, which did not appear on the album version. I kind of wish it was on the album version as well. So anyway, so let's talk about Survivor first before we go right into the song background. So Survivor is an American rock band. I mean, how American can you be? They're from Chicago, Illinois. It was started in 1978 by Jim Peterick and Frankie Sullivan. And the band achieved its best success in the 80s, producing many charting singles. And I'll share with them because I too thought it was only one or two songs they did. No, they've done other great hits in the top, you know, Billboard charts. And I'll tell you who they are. The band is definitely known for this double platinum certified 1982 hit, Eye of the Tiger, again, theme song to Rocky III. It actually spent 6 weeks at #1 in the US. That is awesome. But not to be overshadowed by their other songs too. So the band continued to chart in the mid-1980s with Burning Heat, US number 1, number 2, not number 1, but still number 2, top 5. The Search is Over, US number 4. I'm High on You. That was US number 8. Is This Love? US number 9. I'm telling you, still top 10. And I Can't Hold Back. I totally forgot about that. Check it out on YouTube. That's a great song. I'm going to have to learn on karaoke. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5 of the 6 are in the top 5. I mean, come on. And then the 6th one, number 13. I think they did pretty good. So let's talk about, you know, what else we need to know about this band and also the song itself. So let's jump into the song background of Eye of the Tiger. So there was an interview done on songfacts.com where the co-writer, which is Jim Peterick, I mentioned earlier, he is actually the keyboardist, who had an amazing mullet, by the way. So check it out when you go to YouTube to check out the video, who shares writing credit with Frankie Sullivan, who's the guitarist. And they explain the song's title. Here's what Mr. Jim says. At first, we wondered if calling it Eye of the Tiger was too obvious. The initial draft of the song we started with, it's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight, rising up to the spirit of a rival. And the last known survivor stalks his prey in the night, and it all comes down to survival. That's the original one, but then, you know, he changes it and he says, we were going to call the song Survival. In the rhyme scheme, you can tell we'd set it up rival to rhyme with survival. At the end of the day, we thought, are we nuts? That hook is so strong. And rival doesn't have to be a perfect rhyme with the word tiger. So we made the choice and went with Eye of the Tiger. That's how they end it. That's the name of the song. I think they did quite well. They went with their gut. Their gut was right. No surprise, in 1982, Survivor's breakthrough ride with this song, which also went with the 1982 Rocky III movie. And what happened was, writer, director Sly Stallone, or Sylvester Stallone, asked them to provide a theme song. Hey, can you guys provide me a theme song to my movie Rocky III? That's my best friend. Sly Stallone, I'm sorry. And so Stallone had heard Poor Man's Son and wanted a song similar to it. And he actually wanted, get this, Queen's Another One Bites the Dust. Boom. I can see that too. That would work. That would work. But Queen said, nope. So they didn't give him permission to use Another One Bites the Dust. And that's why he went to Survivor and said, hey, can you make me a song? Well, can they make him a song? They sure did. And it was in the top #1 for 16 weeks. There you go. The new song featured a faster tempo than Poor Man's Son, while and still incorporating that stylish, nearly identical power chords. I'm going to have to check out Poor Man's Son. It had enormous impact, like I said, on the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at #1, remaining there for, 6 weeks, not 16, 6 weeks. Still really good. I would like a #1 charting for 6 weeks. And it was in the top 40 for a total of 18 weeks. Wow. It also topped the British charts and was Australia's #1 single for 4 weeks. Australia? That's why I like you. You know your music. You know your rock. The album sale of the album, also called Eye of the Tiger, was released by the band in June of 1982 and contained another top 40 hit in the U.S. called American Heartbeat, #17. See, top 20, 25. And the one that really matters, which hit #74 U.S. The album charted #2 in the States. It did quite well. Then, a year later, in 1983, Survivor tried to duplicate the success of Eye of the Tiger with a next release called Caught in the Game, September of 1983. The album turned out to be a commercial disappointment, stalling at #82 on the Billboard 200 in the U.S., while the album's title track peaked at #77. It's hard to sometimes hit lightning in a bottle twice. Then we start to see a change in lead singers. So the original lead singer, you'll remember, his name is Dave Bickler. He's blonde. That's how I remember him. He's blonde. The band suffered a setback because he started to have vocal problems. That's a problem. It's, again, your vocal cords, that is a muscle. That is something you have to take care of and groom. Well, he started to have vocal problems and was required to undergo an operation to remove polyps and vocal fold nodules. Oof. A very common ailment in singers, which I think Adele, speaking of her, had some polyps problems as well. After the operation, Bickler went back on the road, singing a mere 2 weeks later, but after recording Caught in the Game, that was the next album that didn't do so well, and struggling through the tour dates for that record, it was apparent to not only him, but the band that his voice needed more rest, which he should have gotten. But keyboardist Patrick and guitarist Sullivan were like, no, we got to tour. And unfortunately, they fired him, the original singer. And the band's record label, yet again, failed to do much in the way of promotion. Many felt like it was a superior album overall to Eye of the Tiger 1 year before. And then in 1984 to 88, Bickler was replaced by a Jimmy Jameson. He came from the bands Target and Cobra, which I just realized Cobra is perfect because guess what? Sly Stallone was in a movie called Cobra years later. So I think that was a full circle. Anyway, I remember Jimmy Jameson because he had dark hair and he actually looked like, he kind of looks like a character actor from the 70s with his look too. Very intriguing. Like he could be a villain as well, but intriguing. So I don't know. Look him up. Jimmy Jameson, J-I-M-I Jameson. So he became the lead singer. So the band's first song to feature him, he didn't slack as well. Great vocalist. Was The Moment of Truth. It was the theme song of the box office smash, The Karate Kid. Remember that? 1984? It peaked at #63 on the Billboard Hot 100 in June of 84. So I need to check that Moment of Truth because I think I remember that song. I think it was awesome too. Then came Survivor's first album with them called Vital Signs, came August of 1984, which provided the band with a massive comeback, peaking at #16 on the Billboard album chart with hits like I Can't Hold Back. Good song. #13 U.S. charts. I'm High on You. #8 U.S. The Search Is Over with #4. There you go. So many years later, so again, just to reiterate, Jimmy Jameson brought him back, totally different singer, and had these 3, 4, no #1, like our friend, the previous lead singer, but did quite quite well with these top 20 hits, okay? And then you'll read on the internet many years later, back and forth with Jameson and Bickler vying for the lead singer role. And there's actually a lawsuit of the use of the band name Survivor. I didn't know that. So in 1992, Jimmy Jameson toured, but he was billing it as either Survivor, he's already left Survivor, or Jimmy Jameson Survivor. Because at that time, it's like, hey, no one owns it, I guess, trademarked it. So, and they know me, I'm the face of it, so let's do it. Then in late September of 1999, Sullivan, who had brought another lawsuit against Jameson, won the ownership of the name Survivor, thereby ending the ongoing trademark battle. So Jimmy Jameson could no longer call it Survivor or Quintor as Jimmy Jameson Survivor because he doesn't own the name. Then in March 2000, a year later, they brought Bickler. Actually, no, they brought Bickler when that was happening, and then fired him a year later. Then they said severing the Sullivan-Bickler Survivor and resulting in Sullivan's reestablishment of a partnership with Jameson. So like they brought Jameson in. Oh boy. The band began recording material for a new album called the Patrick Sullivan pen track Velocitized was set for inclusion on the soundtrack to the Stallone film Driven. Oh, Stallone just keeps going back to the well. Why not? However, it did not make the cut. That's why I don't know what the song was. Did you know later that year, the band also threatened to sue CBS because at the same time that came out, a little known show still playing right now called Survivor, the reality game. I wanted to use their title of their hit reality show, Survivor. So, of course, they're like, no, you can't use our songs, nor you can't use our name. But they were able to do Survivor, the name of the show, which, okay, all right. So that happened. And then in 2004, apparently a Starbucks television commercial actually must have paid a lot of money because they didn't sue them for this. So they gave, hey, you can use it. Use their Eye of the Tiger for their double shot espresso beverage. It showed the band following a man named Glenn sing a modified version of Eye of the Tiger while he went about his day-to-day tasks. I remember this is a good commercial. It was so good, it gained a number of fans and was nominated for an Emmy Award. You go, Survivor. And then, meanwhile, original survivalist, vocalist David Bickler, blonde guy, began collaborating on his successful Bud Light beer Real Men of Genius radio ads. I was like, I've heard this voice before. It's him. Remember those? Those ads ran from the late 1990s to the early 2000s. And it was the Real Men of Genius ads were popular, including TV spots aired in the 2006 Super Bowl. Among them, a CD package containing many of the popular commercials was recorded with Bickler selling over 100,000 copies in its first month of release. Because his voice is, like I've heard that voice before. I know it. And then on July 14, 2006, Jimmy Jameson left the band once again, and then former Macaulay Schenker Group singer Robin Macaulay replaced him on lead vocals, and then years later, he passed on. So, back and forth, but lot of, behind the scenes, some drama there, right? So have you seen the music video? It's amazing. They use some of it, of course, for the Real Men of Genius, kind of the idea. So it features, again, original singer Dave Bickler, blonde hair, on lead vocals. It did quite well, but let's just talk about it. So it gained tremendous MTV radio play, and top charts worldwide, as we know, during 1982. The funny thing is how it's shot. So it's kind of almost like Journey-esque feeling. It's the whole band, the lead singer, Dave Bickler out front. But it changes between him wearing tight jeans, so you can see his manhood, or sometimes they'll switch over to him wearing tight leather pants, but he's always wearing the black beret. Okay, and they're walking towards to the streets, and they're singing their song. And I love where, again, it switches between him wearing the tight jeans, black leather pants. And then oddly enough, at the almost end of the video, certain band members, they show them, all dry looking fine, playing the guitar, playing the keyboard. And then some of them, all of a sudden, same people, their hair is wet, whipping their hair, a la it was dunked in water like flash dance. Like, where did the water come from? And why are you whipping your... It just didn't make sense. You got to watch it. It's crazy, but I love it. So I might have to do a spoof of that. So anyway, thank you on that, Survivor. How did it do awards-wise? Well, of course it did well, other than being #1 for how many weeks. Eye of the Tiger went on to win the band's Grammy Award for Best Rock Performance by a duo or group with vocal at the 25th Annual Grammy Awards. It was also voted Best New Song by the People's Choice Award and received an Academy Award nomination. Did they win? Well, let's see who they're up against. So the song was nominated in 1982 when it came out for the Academy Award for Best Original Song, the only Oscar nomination for Rocky III. Thank God for this song. But it lost to who? What was big in 1982? Let me think. Oh, yeah. The soundtrack to An Officer and a Gentleman. It was a duet by Joe Cocker, Jennifer Warnes, and it was called Love Lift Us Up Where We Belong. Up Where We Belong. So that's who they lost to. Anyway, in the U.S., I told you it held #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart for 6 consecutive weeks. And the band's only song to top the chart and was #2 single of 1982 behind Olivia Newton-John's Physical. Side note on that, as a 10-year-old, remember I was 10 at that time, I thought it was about working out. It was a different kind of workout. It's a workout on the mattress. So if you didn't know that, that's what Physical is about. All right, it spent 15 consecutive weeks at the top 10, the second longest run of 1982, behind Hurt So Good by John Mellencamp. At that time, he was John Cougar, which prevented it from reaching the top of the Hot 100 by Eye of the Tiger. Dang it, this top 10 run is tied with it. Aforementioned, oh my God, what a funny coincidence. Another One Bites the Dust, as well as Physical, as the longest run in the top 10 for #1 song during the entire 1980s decade. The song was nominated, of course, for the 1983 Grammy Award for Song of the Year, but lost to, this I don't get, but all right, there's a lot of fans. Willie Nelson's hit, You're Always on My Mind. Always on my mind. And in September 1982, it also peaked #1 in the UK. The UK loved it, remaining on the top of the UK singles chart for 4 consecutive weeks. The British know what they like too. The single sold 956,000 copies in the UK in 1982, and that's 956,000 times people had to walk, drive, skip, jump to a record store to buy it. Because remember, back then, youngins, we couldn't download anything. So there you go. It was certified platinum in August of 1982 by the RIAA, which means sales of 2 million vinyl copies. The song had sold over 4.1 million in digital downloads, because now we're talking about this time, in the US alone by February 2015. It's also voted as VH1's 63rd greatest hard rock song. Indeed. A couple things you need to know about is Survivor definitely didn't like any Republican using this song, but they tried, so let me give you some. Newt Gingrich in 2012, Survivor sued him because he was using it for his presidential candidacy, the song Eye of the Tiger, and did not ask permission. Hello. And what happened is in Illinois federal court, he had used Eye of the Tiger without authorization as entrance music at his political rallies going back as far as 2009. That's pretty sneaky. The suit was later settled out of court. I hope he paid a lot. Next was Mitt Romney. The same year, Sullivan also demanded that Mitt Romney, also a Republican candidate for president, stop using Eye of the Tiger at his campaign rallies. Romney agreed to drop the song from the campaign playlist. Mitt Romney, you're a smart man. I mean, you shouldn't have used it in the first place without permission, but at least you stopped. Then Mike Huckabee, another Republican. This is like, they love it. Frankie Sullivan's company, Rude Music, filed a lawsuit in federal court in Chicago, Illinois. That's not Chicago. On November 18, 2015, against the former governor of Arkansas and Republican presidential candidate Mike Huckabee's campaign organization for using Eye of the Tiger at a political rally without permission. The rally took place back on September 8, 2015. All right. And when Kim Davis, remember Miss Kim Davis, she was that Kentucky county clerk, was released from jail after spending 5 days not wanting to issue a marriage license to same-sex couples in Kentucky. Well, and in June 2016, it was reported by CNN that Huckabee had agreed in a confidential out-of-court settlement with Sullivan Rude Music to pay $25,000 in compensation. Again, had to pay. Wasn't as smart as Mitt Romney for not stopping using it. So I thought that was funny that all these Republicans just have this love for Eye of the Tiger. I mean, probably the Rocky thing. And Sullivan and, Survivor's like, no. So hopefully you learned a lot. I did. I love this song. I'm going to probably listen to it again. And no, the song is not about stalking your bread in the night, but stalking the prey in the night. Please keep singing those songs wrong. Bye.